American muscle cars have always been the heartbeat of performance driving, with their thundering engines and raw power capturing hearts for decades. But right now, these legendary machines are facing their biggest crisis ever. Sales numbers are crashing harder than a street racer hitting the wall. Even the most famous names in muscle car history can't find buyers willing to take them home. What was once a fierce battle between Ford, Chevrolet, and Dodge has turned into a ghost town where nobody wants to play anymore. The muscle car market is dying, and it happens faster than anyone expected. These cars that used to fly off dealer lots are now collecting dust like forgotten toys. Prices keep going up while buyers keep walking away. The reasons why nobody wants these cars anymore will shock you, but the truth about America's muscle car crisis needs to be told. Let's count down the 20 worst-selling muscle cars in America right now and discover exactly why these once mighty machines have become complete sales disasters. Number 20 is the 2024 Chevrolet Camaro base model with the V6 engine. This car is supposed to be the entry point into Camaro ownership, but buyers are treating it like it has the plague. Chevrolet only sold 58 Camaros in the first quarter of 2025, which is a mind-blowing drop of over 98% compared to the same time last year. The base Camaro starts at $32,495, but even that price can't attract buyers anymore. The problem with this V6 Camaro runs much deeper than just the engine. It makes 335 horsepower and 284 pound-feet of torque, which sounds good on paper, but buyers know they're not getting the real deal. The V6 engine lacks the soul-crushing rumble that muscle car fans expect. Instead of the deep growl of a V8, you get a strained whine that sounds more like a minivan than a muscle car. The engine also has to work harder to move the heavy Camaro body, making it feel sluggish despite the decent power numbers. The interior feels cheap with low-quality materials that make the car feel like a rental. The dashboard uses hard plastic everywhere, and the seats lack proper support for spirited driving. The visibility is terrible too, with thick pillars blocking your view of the road. Many owners say they have to rely on blind spot sensors just to change lanes safely. The rear window is so small that backing up becomes a nightmare without the backup camera. Even worse, the V6 Camaro struggles with an identity crisis. It's trying to be a fuel-efficient daily driver and a performance car at the same time, but it fails at both jobs. The fuel economy isn't good enough to justify choosing it over a more practical car, and the performance isn't exciting enough to satisfy muscle car buyers. This leaves it stuck in no man's land where nobody really wants it. Number 19 is the 2024 Chevrolet Camaro LT1 with a naturally aspirated V8. Even with a real V8 engine making 455 horsepower and 455 pound-feet of torque, this Camaro can't find homes. The car was supposed to be the sweet spot in the lineup, offering V8 power without the crazy price of the ZL1, but buyers have completely rejected it, and the reasons go far beyond just the engine specifications. The main issue is that this Camaro is built on a 14-year-old platform that desperately needs updating. When you sit inside, you immediately notice how outdated everything feels. The infotainment system is slow and clunky compared to what you get in modern cars. The climate controls feel like they came from the early 2000s, and the overall ergonomics makes simple tasks unnecessarily difficult. The interior design looks ancient compared to modern cars, with a layout that hasn't been meaningfully updated since 2010. The instrument cluster is confusing, with gauges that are hard to read at a glance. The center console feels cramped, and the cup holders are positioned in awkward spots that interfere with shifting or using the infotainment system. The back seat is basically useless for anyone over 5 feet tall. The rear seat cushions are so thin that passengers feel like they're sitting on a park bench. The legroom is non-existent, and the sloped roofline means tall passengers will hit their heads on the ceiling. The trunk space is also the smallest among all muscle cars, making it impractical for daily use or road trips. General Motors decided to kill the Camaro instead of investing money to fix these problems, which tells you everything about how hopeless this car has become. The company looked at the cost of developing a new platform and decided it wasn't worth the investment, essentially admitting that the Camaro was a lost cause. Number 18 is the 2024 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 Supercharged Monster. This should be the ultimate Camaro, with its 650 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque from a supercharged 6.2-liter V8, but even supercar performance can't save it from terrible sales. The ZL1 can hit 60 miles per hour in just 3.5 seconds and has a top speed of 155 miles per hour, making it faster than many exotic cars costing twice as much. But speed isn't enough anymore when the car has so many other problems. The ZL1 suffers from the same visibility issues as cheaper Camaros, but now you're paying nearly $70,000 for the privilege of not being able to see where you're going. The driving position feels like you're sitting in a bunker with thick pillars and small windows that make navigating parking lots a constant struggle. The car also has serious reliability concerns that make potential buyers nervous about long-term ownership. A major recall affected 2020 through 2022 models equipped with a 10-speed automatic transmission due to a transmission control valve defect that could cause the wheels to lock up without warning. Imagine driving at highway speeds and suddenly having your wheels lock up. That's the kind of safety issue that destroys buyer confidence. Other recalls have included electric power steering assist failure on 2016 through 2018 models, which could leave drivers without power steering assistance during critical moments. Airbag-related issues have also plagued various model years, adding to the growing list of safety concerns. Quality control problems extend beyond just recalls. Common owner complaints include anti-theft system problems that can leave you stranded in parking lots, power window motor failures that are expensive to fix, and water pump leaks that can destroy the engine if not caught early. The infamous T-top models also suffer from water leaks that can ruin the interior during rainstorms. Despite these issues, J.D. Power still gave the 2024 Camaro a rating of 87 out of 100 for quality and reliability, which shows how low the bar has become for modern cars. Getting a great rating while having multiple safety recalls and common reliability problems proves that the standards for what counts as reliable have dropped significantly. Number 17 is the 2024 Dodge Challenger SXT with the V6 engine. Like the base Camaro, this car tries to offer muscle car looks without muscle car performance. The 3.6-liter V6 makes 303 horsepower and 268 pound-feet of torque. But buyers see right through the fake muscle car act. Dodge sold only 922 Challengers in the first quarter of 2025, and most of those were higher-powered V8 models, leaving the SXT as an unwanted stepchild. The SXT Challenger has been called one of the most disappointing muscle cars ever made, and spending time with one quickly reveals why. The interior uses cheap plastic everywhere and feels like sitting inside a rental car from 20 years ago. The dashboard is covered in hard, scratchy plastic that looks terrible and feels worse. The door panels use the same cheap materials, and everything rattles and squeaks over even small bumps. The materials are so bad that early reviewers called it a plastic hell with rubberized surfaces that look terrible and feel even worse. The seats are covered in cheap vinyl that gets hot in summer and cold in winter, making every drive uncomfortable. The center console looks like it was designed by someone who had never actually driven a car, with controls placed in random locations that make no logical sense. Even though the car is surprisingly spacious inside, with room for 5 adults and a large trunk, the cheap interior makes it feel like a budget car with a muscle car body stuck on top. The rear seats are actually comfortable for adults, which is unusual in this segment, but the terrible interior quality ruins any positive impressions. The V6 engine also lacks character compared to the V8 options. While it makes decent power on paper, it sounds strained and unexciting. The engine note is bland and forgettable, lacking the emotional connection that muscle car buyers crave. The throttle response is also delayed, making the car feel sluggish even when you're accelerating hard. Number 16 is the 2023 Dodge Challenger RT with the 5.7-liter V8. This car should be the heart of the Challenger lineup, offering real V8 power at a reasonable price starting around $43,000. The RT makes 375 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque and sounds amazing, but buyers are still staying away in huge numbers despite the attractive price point. The biggest problem is that this Challenger is essentially the same car Dodge has been selling since 2008, making it ancient by automotive standards. The platform underneath dates back even further, sharing components with cars from the early 2000s. This shows in every aspect of the driving experience, from the outdated suspension tuning to the primitive electronic systems. The interior design hasn't been meaningfully updated in over 15 years, with the same cheap materials and outdated technology that made it feel old when it was new. The infotainment system is slow and frustrating to use, with a touchscreen that responds poorly and software that crashes regularly. The climate controls still use old-fashioned knobs and buttons that feel like they came from a 20-year-old car. The car also has serious transmission problems that make daily driving unpleasant. Owners constantly complain about harsh shifting, jerking during acceleration, and slipping that makes the car feel broken, even when it's supposedly working correctly. The 8-speed automatic transmission seems unable to decide which gear it wants to be in, constantly hunting and shifting at inappropriate times. These transmission issues aren't just annoying, they're expensive to fix and often require complete replacement under warranty. Many owners report multiple transmission replacements on the same car, suggesting fundamental design problems that Dodge never properly addressed. The RT also suffers from electrical gremlins that can leave you stranded. The tire pressure monitoring system constantly gives false warnings, the check engine light comes on for mysterious reasons, and various warning lights illuminate randomly. These problems are particularly frustrating because they're often intermittent, making them hard for dealers to diagnose and fix. Number 15 is the 2023 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack with the 6.4-liter V8. This beast makes 485 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque, and should be a muscle car lover's dream. But even this much power can't overcome the car's fundamental problems. The Scat Pack was supposed to offer supercar performance at a bargain price, but buyers have rejected it completely, despite its impressive acceleration times. The main issue is that Dodge has become associated with all the wrong things in car culture over the past few years. The brand is now linked with high interest rate loans that target people with bad credit, illegal street takeovers that terrorize neighborhoods, and reckless driving that gives muscle car owners a bad reputation. Many potential buyers actively avoid Dodge products because they don't want to be associated with this negative image. This reputation problem extends to insurance companies, which now charge massive premiums for Challenger ownership. Many insurers won't even cover young drivers in these cars, and older drivers face rates that can cost more per month than the car payment itself. The association with street racing and accidents has made these cars essentially uninsurable for many people. The car also has serious electrical problems that go beyond the issues affecting other Challengers. The tire pressure monitoring system is particularly problematic, constantly giving false warnings that can't be cleared even by dealers. The system seems to have a mind of its own, alerting drivers to problems that don't exist while ignoring actual tire pressure issues. Other electrical gremlins include problems with the advanced safety systems, which randomly activate or deactivate themselves. The blind spot monitoring system might work perfectly for months, then suddenly stop functioning without warning. The adaptive cruise control has similar issues, sometimes braking unexpectedly or failing to maintain proper following distances. The Scat Pack also suffers from drive shaft problems on certain models, particularly the SXT variants with all-wheel drive. The drive shaft can fail catastrophically, leaving drivers stranded and facing expensive repairs. This problem is well known among Challenger owners, but Dodge has never issued a proper recall or fix. Number 14 is the 2023 Dodge Challenger Hellcat with the supercharged 6.2-liter V8, making 717 horsepower and 656 pound-feet of torque. This should be the ultimate muscle car experience. It can hit 60 miles per hour in just 3.6 seconds and has a top speed over 200 miles per hour, putting it in legitimate supercar territory. But even this incredible performance can't save it from sales disaster. The Hellcat's problem is that it's become a victim of its own reputation and the broader issues affecting all Dodge performance cars. Insurance companies charge massive premiums for these cars because of their association with street racing, accidents, and theft. Many insurance companies simply refuse to write policies for Hellcats, especially for younger drivers. The cars are also frequently stolen, making them expensive to insure and risky to own in many areas. Professional thieves target these cars specifically because they're valuable and relatively easy to steal using modern electronic methods. Many owners report having their cars stolen from supposedly secure locations like gated communities and private garages. Plus, the ancient interior and platform problems affect even this top-tier model, making it feel like an expensive engine swap rather than a properly engineered supercar. When you're paying over $60,000 for a car, you expect premium materials and modern technology. Instead, you get the same cheap plastic interior and outdated infotainment system found in base model Challengers. The Hellcat also has unique problems related to its extreme power level. The supercharged engine generates tremendous heat that can overwhelm the cooling system during aggressive driving. Many owners report going into limp mode during track days or spirited driving sessions, with the engine computer reducing power to prevent damage. The fuel system also struggles with the engine's demands, particularly during sustained high-performance driving. The fuel pump can cavitate under hard acceleration, causing power loss and potentially damaging the engine. These issues make the Hellcat unreliable for the kind of performance driving it was supposedly designed for. Number 13 is the 2023 Dodge Challenger Hellcat Red-Eye, making 797 horsepower and 707 pound-feet of torque. This car takes the Hellcat formula and adds even more power, but more power just means more problems. The Red-Eye can theoretically hit 203 miles per hour, but finding places to use that speed legally is nearly impossible, making the extra performance pointless for most buyers. The extreme power level makes this car almost undrivable on public roads without constantly breaking speed limits. The massive torque overwhelms the tires instantly, even with the widest performance tires available. This makes it hard to use the performance without spinning the wheels, which defeats the purpose of having so much power in the first place. The car also drinks fuel at an alarming rate that makes even short trips expensive. The EPA doesn't even bother rating fuel economy for these cars because the numbers would be so embarrassing. Owners report single-digit fuel economy during normal driving, with some seeing fuel consumption rates that rival large trucks. Combined with the reliability issues that plague all Challengers, the Red-Eye has become more of a garage queen than a real driver's car. Many owners are afraid to drive them regularly because of the combination of theft risk, insurance costs, and potential reliability problems. This defeats the entire purpose of owning a performance car. The Red-Eye also suffers from unique cooling challenges that make sustained performance driving nearly impossible. The supercharged engine generates so much heat that the cooling system can't keep up during aggressive driving. Track day sessions often end early when the car goes into protective mode to prevent engine damage. Number 12 is the 2023 Dodge Challenger Superstock with 807 horsepower and 707 pound-feet of torque. This is supposed to be the ultimate factory drag racing machine, capable of running quarter-mile times in the tens. It can hit 60 miles per hour in 3.3 seconds, making it one of the fastest accelerating cars ever built by any manufacturer. But all that power is useless when the car has so many other problems that prevent owners from actually enjoying it. The Superstock still uses the same cheap interior as every other Challenger, making it feel like paying supercar money for a budget car experience. When you're spending over $80,000 on a car, you expect premium materials and attention to detail, not the same plastic dashboard found in base models. The transmission has the same shifting problems as lesser Challengers, but now those problems are magnified by the extreme power level. The 8-speed automatic struggles to handle the torque, often shifting harshly or refusing to downshift when you need power. Manual mode helps somewhat, but the transmission still makes decisions on its own that can ruin the driving experience. Quality control issues mean many Superstocks arrive at dealers with problems that take months to fix. Common issues include misaligned body panels, paint defects, and interior components that don't fit properly. Some cars have electrical problems from the factory that prevent them from starting or cause various systems to malfunction. The extreme performance also makes these cars difficult to use in the real world. The drag racing-focused suspension setup makes the ride harsh and uncomfortable for daily driving. The ultra-wide tires create road noise that makes highway driving fatiguing. The low ground clearance means you have to be constantly careful about driveways and speed bumps. Number 11 is the 2023 Dodge Charger SXT 4-door sedan. This car tries to offer muscle car performance in a more practical 4-door package, but buyers have completely rejected this approach. The 4-door Charger sold 34,754 units in 2024, which might sound decent until you realize that's a 25% drop from the year before, indicating rapidly declining interest. The Charger SXT suffers from the same cheap interior problems as the Challenger, but now you're supposed to use it as a family car. The back seat is spacious enough for adults, but the interior materials are so bad that passengers feel like they're riding in a taxi from the 1990s. The rear seat cushions are thin and uncomfortable, and the cheap plastic trim pieces rattle constantly. The V6 engine lacks the character that muscle car buyers expect, producing a bland sound that doesn't match the aggressive styling. The 3.6-liter engine makes decent power on paper, but it feels strained when you ask for acceleration. The engine also has timing chain issues that can lead to expensive repairs after the warranty expires. The car's association with fleet sales and rental companies has severely damaged its image among enthusiasts. Most people's first experience with a Charger is as a rental car, which creates negative associations with cheap interior materials and poor maintenance. This fleet image makes the Charger feel like a commercial vehicle rather than a desirable personal car. The SXT also has unique problems related to its front-wheel drive architecture on base models. The front wheels struggle to handle even the V6's power, causing torque, steer, and wheel spin that make the car feel unstable during acceleration. The all-wheel drive system available on higher trims helps with traction, but adds weight and complexity that hurt fuel economy and reliability. Number 10 is the 2023 Dodge Charger RT with the 5.7-liter V8. This should be the perfect family muscle car, offering V8 power with 4 doors for practicality. The RT makes 375 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque and can hit 60 miles per hour in under 6 seconds, which is genuinely quick for a full-size sedan weighing over 4,000 pounds. But the Charger RT has all the same problems as its Challenger sibling, plus some unique issues that make it even less appealing. The interior is boring and low quality, with mind-numbing black plastic everywhere that makes the cabin feel cheap and depressing. The dashboard design is uninspiring, with controls scattered randomly and no apparent logic to the layout. The car also has reliability problems that are particularly troublesome in a family sedan. These include transmission issues that cause harsh shifting and jerking, window failures that leave passengers exposed to weather, and faulty check engine lights that constantly worry owners about potential problems. The electrical system is particularly problematic, with wiring issues that can leave you stranded at the worst possible moments. Steering noises are another common complaint, with owners reporting clicking, grinding, and whining sounds from the steering system. These problems often start early in the car's life and get progressively worse over time. The noise is particularly annoying during low-speed maneuvering like parking, making everyday tasks unpleasant. The Charger RT also suffers from premature engine failure on certain model years, particularly the 2006 models that experienced widespread engine problems. While newer models are generally more reliable, the reputation for engine problems continues to hurt sales. Many potential buyers choose other brands specifically to avoid the risk of major engine repairs. Number 9 is the 2023 Dodge Charger Scat Pack with the 6.4-liter V8. Making 485 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque, this should be the ultimate 4-door muscle car. It can accelerate from 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds, which puts it in legitimate supercar territory for a family sedan. Unfortunately, the Scat Pack Charger has become a symbol of everything wrong with modern muscle cars. The car attracts the wrong kind of attention due to its association with street racing and illegal activities. Many dealers won't even stock them because of theft concerns and insurance issues. The cars are frequently stolen and used in crimes, which has created negative associations that hurt sales. The ancient platform shows its age in every aspect of the driving experience, from the cheap interior to the outdated technology that feels 10 years behind the competition. The infotainment system is slow and frustrating, with a touchscreen that responds poorly and software that crashes regularly. The climate controls are confusing and poorly laid out, making simple adjustments unnecessarily difficult. The Scat Pack also has unique cooling problems related to its high-performance engine. The 6.4-liter V8 generates tremendous heat that can overwhelm the cooling system during aggressive driving. Many owners report overheating issues during track days or even spirited street driving, with the engine going into protective mode to prevent damage. The braking system also struggles with the car's performance and weight. The standard brakes fade quickly during repeated hard stops, and the brake pedal feel becomes spongy and unpredictable. Upgrading to the optional Brembo brakes helps, but they're expensive and still not ideal for sustained performance driving. Number 8 is the 2023 Dodge Charger Hellcat, making 717 horsepower and 656 pound-feet of torque. This 4-door rocket ship should be the ultimate sleeper car, looking like a regular sedan while packing supercar performance. It can hit 60 miles per hour in 3.4 seconds, making it faster than most dedicated sports cars costing much more money. But the Hellcat Charger has the same image problems as all Dodge performance cars, plus some unique issues that make it particularly problematic. The extreme power makes it almost impossible to use on public roads without breaking speed limits instantly. Even gentle acceleration can quickly put you into illegal territory, making the car's performance more of a liability than an asset. The car also has serious cooling problems when pushed hard, with the supercharged engine overheating during aggressive driving. The cooling system simply can't handle the heat generated by 700 plus horsepower, especially in hot weather or stop-and-go traffic. This makes the car unreliable for the kind of performance driving it was designed for. Insurance costs are astronomical for these cars, and many companies won't even insure them for young drivers. The combination of extreme performance, theft risk, and accident history has made Hellcat Chargers essentially uninsurable for many people. Even older drivers with clean records face monthly insurance premiums that can exceed the car payment. The Hellcat also has unique problems with its fuel system that affect performance and reliability. The high-performance fuel pump can fail prematurely, leaving drivers stranded with no warning. The fuel lines also struggle with the engine's demands during hard acceleration, sometimes causing fuel starvation that can damage the engine. Number 7 is the 2025 Dodge Charger Daytona RT electric version. This car was supposed to be the future of muscle cars, offering instant electric torque in place of traditional V8 power. Dodge marketed it as the world's quickest muscle car, and the performance numbers are genuinely impressive, with near-instant acceleration that pins you to your seat. But the electric Charger has been a complete disaster in the marketplace that shows how disconnected manufacturers can be from their customers. Dodge quietly killed the RT version just 4 months after delivery started because nobody wanted to buy it. This rapid cancellation is almost unprecedented in the automotive industry and represents a massive failure of market research and product planning. Dealers had to slash prices by up to $32,000 off the sticker price just to move them, which is an enormous discount that suggests complete market rejection. When dealers are willing to lose that much money per car just to get them off the lot, it indicates a product that fundamentally misunderstands its target market. The car sold only 1,947 units in the first quarter of 2025, which is terrible for a brand new model from a major manufacturer. For comparison, the discontinued ICE models sold nearly as many units just from remaining inventory, proving that buyers strongly prefer the old technology over the new electric version. The problem is that muscle car buyers want the sound and feel of a V8 engine, not the silent acceleration of an electric motor. The Charger Daytona tries to fake engine noise through speakers, but buyers have called it an angry mosquito instead of a proper muscle car sound. The artificial noise is so unconvincing that it actually makes the car less appealing than if it were simply silent. The starting price of $61,590 is also much higher than the old V8 Chargers, making it unaffordable for many traditional buyers. This represents a massive price increase over the outgoing ICE models without providing the emotional connection that muscle car buyers actually want. Number 6 is the 2025 Dodge Charger Daytona Scat Pack electric version. This top-tier electric muscle car makes 670 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque, which should provide incredible performance. The acceleration is instant and brutal, with the kind of power that pushes you back in your seat and can easily break traction at any speed. But even more power can't overcome the fundamental problem that muscle car buyers don't want electric cars, regardless of their performance capabilities. The Scat Pack version costs $75,185, putting it in luxury car territory while offering none of the traditional muscle car experience that buyers actually want. The car has also suffered from software problems and delays that have frustrated the few buyers brave enough to order one. Early owners report issues with the charging system, infotainment glitches, and various electronic malfunctions that leave them stranded. These problems are particularly frustrating in an electric car because you can't simply call a traditional mechanic for help. Dodge's attempt to force electric power on muscle car buyers has backfired spectacularly, proving that you can't simply replace traditional powertrains with electric motors and expect the same customer base to follow. The emotional connection to V8 engines runs much deeper than pure performance numbers, and electric cars currently can't replicate that experience. The charging infrastructure also presents problems for muscle car buyers who want to take road trips or attend car shows. Finding reliable, fast charging stations can be challenging, especially in rural areas where many car enthusiasts live. This makes the electric Charger impractical for the kind of driving that muscle car owners actually do. Number 5 is the 2025 Ford Mustang EcoBoost with the turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. This should be the affordable entry point into Mustang ownership, but buyers are avoiding it like a bad accident. The EcoBoost makes 315 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque, which is respectable performance, but it lacks the soul of a proper V8 muscle car that buyers expect from the Mustang name. The biggest problem with the EcoBoost Mustang is that Ford raised prices by $3,700 for 2025, then added another $1,000 increase in December. These massive price hikes have put the base EcoBoost at $33,515, which is dangerously close to V8 territory and destroys the value proposition. Buyers increasingly question why they should pay Mustang money for a four-cylinder engine when they could get a V8 for just a little more money. The price gap between the EcoBoost and GT has shrunk to the point where the four-cylinder makes no financial sense for most buyers who want genuine performance. The EcoBoost also suffers from Ford's controversial decision to lock down the engine computer with double-key encryption, making it nearly impossible for enthusiasts to modify their cars. This has alienated the aftermarket community that has traditionally supported the Mustang brand for decades. The tuning and modification culture is a huge part of Mustang ownership, and Ford's restrictions have destroyed this important aspect of the ownership experience. Many potential buyers have walked away specifically because they can't customize their cars the way they want. The Mustang has always been a platform for personal expression and modification, but Ford's new restrictions make it just another appliance that can't be personalized. This represents a fundamental betrayal of Mustang culture and values. The four-cylinder engine also lacks the emotional appeal that makes muscle cars special. While the performance numbers are adequate, the sound is uninspiring and the character is bland. Muscle car buyers want an engine that excites their senses, not just one that moves the car quickly from point A to point B. Number 4 is the 2025 Ford Mustang GT with the 5-liter V8 engine. This should be the heart of the Mustang lineup, offering traditional V8 power and sound in the last remaining two-door muscle car. The GT makes 480 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque and sounds amazing, but even this can't save it from declining sales that continue to get worse each quarter. The Mustang GT now starts at $47,055, which represents a huge increase from previous years that has priced out many traditional buyers. A fully loaded GT Premium can easily cost over $70,000, putting it in Chevrolet Corvette territory where buyers have many more attractive options. High interest rates on car loans have made financing these expensive cars nearly impossible for many buyers. With rates often exceeding 8% for car loans, the monthly payments become unaffordable for middle-class buyers who traditionally form the core of the muscle car market. Ford has started offering discounts to try to move inventory, but sales continue to fall despite these incentives. The GT also has serious quality control problems that have damaged buyer confidence and created warranty nightmares for owners. New cars are arriving at dealers with missing welds, water leaks, and interior defects that take months to fix. Some owners have reported catastrophic issues like missing welds from the factory that cause structural problems and water intrusion. Engine failures at very low mileage have also been reported, which is completely unacceptable for a car costing $50,000 or more. One owner reported a complete 5-liter engine failure at just 7,500 miles, requiring a complete engine replacement under warranty. These kinds of problems destroy trust in the brand and make potential buyers nervous about long-term reliability. Interior quality issues are also common, with problems including trunk carpet replacement, dash dents, faulty seats, and headliner separation. Some 2022 models had so many problems that Ford was forced to buy them back under lemon laws, which is embarrassing for a flagship product. Number 3 is the 2025 Ford Mustang Dark Horse with the modified 5-liter V8. This track-focused variant makes 500 horsepower and 418 pound-feet of torque and should be the ultimate driver's Mustang. It can hit 60 miles per hour in 3.7 seconds with the automatic transmission, putting it in serious sports car territory that should attract serious enthusiasts. But the Dark Horse has all the same problems as other new Mustangs, plus some unique issues that limit its appeal even further. The track-focused suspension makes it harsh and uncomfortable for daily driving, with a ride quality that feels more like a race car than a street car. This severely limits its appeal to buyers who want a car they can actually drive regularly. The car also costs significantly more than a regular GT, but many buyers don't see enough extra value to justify the higher price. The Dark Horse feels like a parts bin special rather than a genuinely engineered performance car, with upgrades that could have been offered as options on the regular GT. The tuning restrictions affect this model too, preventing owners from extracting more performance from the engine, even though it's supposedly designed for enthusiasts who want maximum performance. This is particularly frustrating because the Dark Horse is marketed to serious enthusiasts who are most likely to want aftermarket modifications. The Dark Horse also has unique cooling challenges that affect its track performance. Despite being designed for aggressive driving, the cooling system struggles during extended track sessions. Many owners report having to back off the throttle or pit early to prevent overheating, which defeats the purpose of buying a track-focused car. Number 2 is any remaining 2024 Chevrolet Camaro inventory sitting on dealer lots. These cars represent the end of an era, being the final Camaros ever built before General Motors killed the nameplate forever. You would think this would make them valuable collector items, but buyers are treating them like toxic waste that nobody wants to touch. The problem is that everyone knows these Camaros have all the same issues that led to the car's cancellation in the first place. The ancient platform, terrible visibility, cheap interior, and reliability problems haven't magically disappeared just because production has ended. If anything, these problems seem worse now because there's no hope of them being fixed in future model years. Dealers are stuck with cars they can't sell, even with heavy discounts and incentives that sometimes exceed $10,000 off the sticker price. When dealers are willing to lose that much money just to move inventory, it shows how desperate the situation has become. The Camaro's death also signals that General Motors has given up on the muscle car market entirely, which makes buyers nervous about parts availability and service support in the future. Why buy a car from a company that doesn't want to make cars like it anymore? This creates uncertainty about long-term ownership that drives away potential buyers. The final Camaros also suffer from production quality issues as the factory wound down operations. Workers knew the plant was closing, and quality control suffered as a result. Many final production cars have defects and problems that make them poor examples of what the Camaro could have been. Number 1 worst-selling muscle car in America right now is the 2025 Ford Mustang in general, despite being the last traditional muscle car standing. This should be a huge advantage with no direct competition from the Camaro or Challenger anymore. Instead, the Mustang recorded its worst sales year ever in 2024, with only 44,003 units sold, representing a complete failure to capitalize on its unique market position. What makes this even more embarrassing is that Ford's own electric Mustang Mach-E crossover outsold the real Mustang by over 7,000 units in 2024. This trend continued into 2025, showing that buyers prefer a practical electric crossover over a traditional muscle car, even when both carry the same Mustang name. This proves that the Mustang name alone isn't enough to sell cars when the underlying product doesn't meet buyer needs. The regular Mustang has become a symbol of everything wrong with modern muscle cars. Prices have skyrocketed, while practicality has remained terrible, creating a value proposition that no longer makes sense. The two-door coupe format feels completely outdated when SUVs and trucks offer similar performance with vastly more utility for daily life. Young buyers don't have the same emotional connection to muscle cars that older generations did, and they're choosing completely different types of vehicles. The demographic that traditionally bought muscle cars is aging out of the market, while younger buyers prioritize different attributes like fuel efficiency, technology, and practicality over raw performance. Ford's anti-tuning measures have also destroyed the enthusiast community that kept the Mustang relevant for decades. By locking down the engine computer, Ford has essentially told its most loyal customers that their business isn't wanted anymore. This has created a hostile relationship between the company and the people who should be buying these cars. The Mustang's failure proves that being the last remaining option isn't enough when the entire market is moving away from traditional muscle cars. Rising costs, changing buyer preferences, and manufacturer mistakes have combined to create a perfect storm that's destroying the American muscle car dream faster than anyone thought possible. These 20 worst-selling muscle cars show us that an entire era is ending right before our eyes. The days of affordable, powerful, customizable American muscle cars are disappearing faster than we ever imagined. But this crisis might also force manufacturers to innovate and create something even better for the future. The muscle car spirit of performance and excitement doesn't have to die completely. It just needs to evolve for a new generation of buyers who value different things than their parents did.